Mischievous Kitties, 2 discoveries. As the weather continued to get hotter during the days, the kitties were enjoying having the windows open. The light breeze that blew in felt so good, it made napping in the sunroom so much better. Not like naps in the sunroom weren't already good. They were good, but the breeze just made them better. Now they were great. And then one day it was sunny, not one cloud in the sky, no breeze either. The house was so hot. The kitties all gathered in the sunroom, hoping for even a slight breeze to ruffle their fur. Even Pepper was sitting still for once. Peaches had laid out on the flat, hard tile, trying to stay cool. Her long hair made it feel like she was still wearing a winter coat. Mr. Fluffles was licking her face, trying to help, but the long orange hair on her cheeks kept getting caught on his tongue. But he was determined to help her any way he could. Jewel and Cream sat on the windowsill, just engaged in small talk. The only one who wasn't closer to the open windows was Mocha. He sat at the doorway of the sunroom, watching Owner pace back and forth. Mocha could tell this heat was getting to Owner, too. "Why is it so hot?" whined Pepper. "I don't know," Jewel responded. "Do you think it has something to do with Owner being home?" Mr. Fluffles asked, a piece of Peach's long hair in his mouth. "I think so," Mocha responded. All the kitties looked at him. "What makes you say that?" Pepper asked. "Owner is usually at work by this time," Mocha responded. "We woke up to all the windows being open and the house being stuffy. Owner might be trying to get it fixed." "The windows were open all night, too," Peaches commented. "I think something is wrong with the air conditioner. Probably why Owner is home, trying to get it fixed." "What's an air conditioner?" Mocha asked. "I think it's what makes the breeze in the house when the windows are closed. It makes loud noises outside," Peaches explained. "Ah, okay," Mocha responded. "I hope it gets fixed soon. I'm so bored," Pepper whined again. "You're always bored," Mocha said, his attention turned back to Owner. "Yeah, but it's too hot to find something to entertain me." "Good, maybe you'll stay out of trouble for one day," Jewel chimed in. "I'm not in trouble every day," Pepper protested. "Just about," Jewel shot back. "Excuse me if I find things that are more interesting than cleaning and napping." "Actually, you don't. You must be really interested in cleaning because everything you do makes Owner clean up your mess." "Not the same thing." "Well, then you hush, both of you," Peaches scolded. "It's already hot enough in this house without the two of you getting so hot under the collar." Jewel turned away in a huff, and Pepper was about to make a comment, but hesitated when Peaches shot him a glare. Pepper then went over to where Mocha was sitting. "Any change yet?" Pepper asked. "No, but wait, yes, Owner is coming," Mocha said excitedly. "Owner is coming," Pepper called to the other kitties. All eyes turned to the doorway. Owner glanced in at them and then walked past towards the kitchen. "Well, that was anticlimactic," Peaches said with an amused swish of her tail. Pepper glared at her, but then they heard a familiar sound of a bag being shaken. "Treats!" Mr. Fluffle squealed and bounded out of the sunroom. Mocha and Pepper followed the excited kitten. The girls didn't want to move from their respective spots. Another shake from the treats didn't encourage them either. But a call from Owner made Jewel and Cream jump off the window, walk around Peaches, who was making no effort to move, and walk out of the sunroom. Peaches stayed in place, despite all the calls from Owner. It was just too hot to move. After a few moments, Owner walked in, picked Peaches up, carried her in the kitchen, and placed her on the floor with a fan that was blowing cool air around the small room. Peaches sat for a moment, enjoying the feeling of the fan rustling along her fur. It definitely helped her cool off a little. And then with some soft-toned words, Owner shut the sliding door. They were trapped in the kitchen. "We're trapped in the kitchen!" Mocha shrieked. "Oh no, are we in trouble?" Jewel asked. "The door to the dining room is closed too." Cream added. I didn't know that the door slid shut, Pepper said, curious. All the kitties stopped and stared at him. What? He asked, confused. Did you guys know there was a door hidden in the wall? Why would owner shut us in the kitchen? Cream asked. Maybe to keep us cool until the air conditioner gets fixed, Peaches said as she lounged near the fan. Mr. Fluffles flopped on his back against her and happily patted his tummy that was now full of yummy treats. I don't like it, Mocha said as he started to pace. Owner never locks us up in her room. We were when we all first arrived here, Jewel commented. That was different, Cream pointed out. That was Owner's way of keeping us safe until we adjusted to each other. That's it, Mocha exclaimed. What? Pepper asked, suddenly very concerned. Owner must be worried about our safety. This must be where Owner thinks we will be able to stay safe until the danger passes. Oh, good. For a moment I was afraid that Owner was about to adopt a new pair of kitties. Whew. Pepper sighed in relief. Mocha stared amazed at the gray-striped kitty. I guess it means we should just wait until the danger passes then, Cream concluded as she stretched and huddled down near Peaches. Yeah, but how will we know when it has passed? Mocha thought out loud. A prickle of concern started in the back of his mind. When Owner opens the door, obviously, Cream said. But what if Owner is in danger too? Mocha spoke thoughtfully. What do you mean? Pepper asked. Ding dong. A high-pitched sound came from the front door and all the kitties jumped, startled. Mocha and Pepper approached the main door of the kitchen and listened intently. They could hear Owner's footsteps walk to the front door. The front door opened and they could hear a new voice talk to Owner. The two then walked back past the kitchen. Mocha and Pepper looked at each other, confused for a moment. They pressed their ears against the door. What happened? Pepper asked. I don't know. I didn't hear any footfalls walk into the living room, but their voices faded. They both went somewhere. Who's the extra person? I don't know. I don't recognize the scent. Maybe that's the reason that Owner locked us in here. So, if the new person is the source of the danger, Pepper's thought trailed off. Then Owner must be in danger, Mocha exclaimed, finishing Pepper's thought. Or maybe the new person is just here to fix the air conditioner and there is no danger, Peaches offered. That could be true, Mocha said, meeting Pepper's eyes. But it wouldn't hurt to check, just to be sure. Yeah, Pepper agreed. We just gotta get this door open. The two kitties put their paws under the door and tried to move it back into the wall, but it wouldn't budge. The kitties stopped and stared at each other. This one must be locked. Let's try the other door, Mocha suggested. They both walked over to the door that separated the kitchen from the dining room. Mocha put his paw on the bottom corner of the door. He pushed and pushed, but didn't feel it move. As he was moving his paw out, he pulled a little on the door. It moved! Pepper exclaimed. Mocha looked and then followed Pepper's gaze. The gap between the door and the wall was little, but it was there. He then pressed his two front paws under the door and tried to pull. Pepper stretched around him and placed one of his front paws in the gap that was widening. Together, the kitties opened the door enough for them to get through one at a time. After they both got out of the kitchen, Mocha looked back at the others. Come on, he called. You go ahead, Cream replied. We'll stay here and wait for Owner. Besides, Owner might be upset if all of us left the place that was meant to keep us safe. Good point, Mocha conceded. Then he and Pepper walked through the dining room. They carefully peeked around the hallway leading from the front door to the living room. Their ears perked as they listened intently. They couldn't hear anything in the living room, but some squeaking caused them both to look upstairs. Then they looked at each other. They're upstairs, they said in unison. The pair then creeped upstairs with quiet paw steps. They could hear the voices getting louder as every step brought them closer. They hunched down on the next step below to stay hidden. They both peeked over the edge, their ears straight up and alert. What they saw shocked them. At the top of the stairs were 3 doors. The one to the left led to Owner's bedroom, to the right was the game room, and there was a middle door that never opened. But right here, in front of their disbelieving eyes, they saw the middle door was open. They both smelled the air, trying to determine the door's use. Smells of dust, stale air, and heated wood reached their noses. "I wonder what's in there," Pepper said, curious. "I don't know. Maybe we should check it out," Mocha replied. Both kitties nodded to each other. They crouched back down below the top stair. Then in one fluid motion, they jumped on the top step and split off in opposite directions. Mocha went into Owner's bedroom, Pepper went to the game room. They each hid against their respective walls and peeked around the doorways to get a glimpse of what was inside the third room. A single orangish light illuminated the room's wooden and bare interior. The kitties were just about to make a run for the opening when they heard footsteps. They both hid and stood still as the voices of Owner and the stranger passed. Mocha and Pepper stepped quietly through the doorway and looked around the stairs to ensure they were in the clear. Then they bounded into the opening of the third door. The strange smells were more prevalent inside this room. The unfinished walls were unique and boring at the same time. Their nails clicked on the rough wood floor and echoed softly around the beams and rafters. The room was relatively empty, except for a few boxes just piled up together. "I wonder what's over here," Mocha said softly as he walked over to investigate the boxes. "Pepper, stand watch." "Why?" Pepper asked with an attitude. "There's nothing here. Those boxes are probably just empty. We should leave," he said defiantly. "Not yet," Mocha insisted, and he bopped some of the boxes with his front paw, testing if they were empty. "Look, we're already going to get in trouble for being up here. Let's leave now before Owner comes back." "Since when are you concerned about staying out of trouble?" the shaggy brown kitty asked as he found a box that was not empty. He jumped on top of it and bounced a little to test if it was sealed. "I don't mind getting in trouble for interesting things. But there is nothing interesting here." "Mocha, don't do that. You're gonna fall in." "I don't think so. It's sealed pretty..." Mocha's reply was cut off by a long ripping sound, and the cardboard gave way under his paws and he fell with a squeak. "Mocha!" Pepper called and ran over to the box. He stood up and placed his front paws on the box so he could look in. He saw the brown kitty laying on his back, a little dazed. Pepper sighed. "Are you okay?" he asked, frustrated. Mocha's head spun and he tried to shake off the dizziness. "I think so," he replied weakly to Pepper. "Good. Now let's get out of here." Mocha was just about to nod in agreement with Gray-Striped Kitty when he got a good look at the contents of the box. It was full of books. Bright colors and illustrations intrigued Mocha, and he didn't even hear Pepper's urgent voice. He carefully sat up and studied the illustrations. He wondered what stories they held. What events inspired such beautiful pictures? He opened up a book and saw more illustrations, along with groups of strange marks that sat either above or below an illustration. "These must be the words that others like Owner read," he whispered to himself. He studied the markings closely, trying to make some sense of them. Pepper was just about to drag Mocha out of the box when his ears pricked at a sound behind him. He heard the sound of the wind that blew through the house, and then Owner walked the stranger back to the front door. Pepper turned back to Mocha and hissed, "Come on! We have to leave, now!" "Just a moment." Mocha waved a paw unconcerned at Pepper. He was totally distracted by the pictures in the books. "No, now!" Pepper said and jumped on the side of the box. He braced his back feet on the top and leaned down, attempting to grab Mocha by the scruff. The sound of footsteps made him look up, and in the same instant he lost his balance. He fell face down on the books behind Mocha. He rolled over just in time to see the light above him turn off and heard a squeak followed by the light fading and a mechanical click. They were locked in. No, 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 no! Pepper shrieked as he scrambled out of the box and stumbled to the door. The room was now dark, save a sliver of light peeking from under the door. Pepper meowed, trying to get Owner's attention. Owner! We're in here! Let us out! His ears perked as he listened intently, but there was no indication that Owner was walking back up. Pepper decided that a more consistent approach would work better. He was just about to start when he heard a casual tone behind him. Can someone turn the lights back on, please? Mocha asked, still inside the box of books. Pepper was dumbfounded. Did this shaggy brown kitty not understand the gravity of their situation? I can't. We're locked in here, he called back to Mocha. Okay, that's fine, was the reply. Pepper turned back to the door and prepared to carry out his plan with more vigor. He didn't know which was worse, being stuck in the dark room or being stuck in the dark room with Mocha. Help! He yelled at the top of his lungs. Back downstairs, the sound of the air conditioner being fixed excited the remaining kitties in the kitchen. They all jumped up and excitedly pounced around Owner's feet as the kitchen door slid open and back into its spot inside the wall. Cream and Jewel walked out of the kitchen and into the living room looking for Mocha and Pepper. I thought they were out here, Cream commented when they couldn't find them. You know them. With Owner being home, they're probably already upstairs in the game room, Jewel said as she walked into the sunroom without a second thought. Cream blinked in disbelief, and her jaw slacked open. How could Jewel not be concerned about them? Cream thought Pepper was Jewel's best friend. Was she more concerned about her own comfort than the safety of her best friend? What's wrong? Peaches asked upon seeing Cream's expression. Cream closed her mouth and shook her head. Nothing. I was just looking for Mocha and Pepper. They're nowhere downstairs. Huh. That's weird, Peaches remarked. I thought the living room was where Owner brought the stranger to fix the air conditioning. I thought so too. So where are Mocha and Pepper? They were both silent for a moment as they pondered the question. And then one of Peach's ears twitched. Did you hear that? She asked. Hear what? Cream asked. I don't know. It's very faint, but... Peaches started walking back towards the kitchen, her ears still twitching. It almost sounds like a cry for help. Cream bounded next to her to listen carefully as they walked quietly. She thought she heard something, but wasn't sure. Peaches! Came a cry from Mr. Fluffles. Both kitties picked up their pace and found the little tuxedo kitty at the bottom of the stairs. Do you hear that? The kitten asked with huge worried eyes. All three kitties listened and heard the muffled cry for help. Pepper! Peaches and Cream said together as they recognized the voice. Cream immediately ran up the stairs, as Peaches, carrying Mr. Fluffles, trailed behind her. Cream searched Owner's bedroom and then the game room, but still couldn't find them. She walked back into the square hall just as Peaches and Mr. Fluffles reached the top stair. The call for help was a little clearer up here. Pepper? Mocha? Cream called. We're in here, responded Pepper's muffled voice. Where? Cream asked. Peaches gave the answer. Even as she sat panting, she pointed with a paw to the door that never opens. Cream followed Peaches' pointing paw and her eyes widened. She turned back to Peaches. There? Are you sure? Peaches nodded. But how? Cream asked in disbelief. That door doesn't ever open. Get Owner, called Pepper. Owner can open the door. Cream, Peaches, and Mr. Fluffles all turned and stood on the edge of the top step. All three of them started meowing loudly for Owner. Their little chorus continued for several long moments until they saw Owner at the bottom of the stairs. They could see the quizzical look on Owner's face, and Mr. Fluffles immediately turned to the middle door and pressed his front paws on it. As Owner made it to the top of the stairs, Cream and Peaches had followed his example. Owner motioned for the three kitties to move away from the door. They backed up into the game room, and just as they crossed the threshold, Pepper scratched on the middle door and meowed. Owner opened the door, and Pepper rushed out of the dark, musty, dusty room. "I'm free!" he shouted as he ran into Owner's bedroom. Owner then shut both the bedroom and the game room doors, trapping the kitties in their respective rooms. Pepper looked back at the door. "Oh, come on!" Owner looked around in the attic and found Mocha rumbling around in the box of books. Mocha was picked up gently and dropped outside of the dark room. "Wait!" Mocha cried and quickly ran back in the room, his tail nearly getting shut in the door. He jumped back into the box of books. When Owner followed him, Mocha turned around and mewed quietly, asking for the books. Owner then picked up the whole box, books, Mocha, and all. The attic was shut behind them, and the other doors were opened back up. Owner then placed the box of books down in the bedroom. Peaches, Cream, and Mr. Fluffles gathered around the box of books. Pepper ran downstairs at full speed, wanting to put as much distance between him and doors as possible. "What are these?" Cream asked Mocha. "They're books," he responded excitedly. "They have pretty pictures." "Oh," Cream said excitedly as she looked at the pictures. "What are they about?" "I don't know, but I want to find out." Peaches took a deep breath and quickly turned and walked out of the bedroom. "Well, if you guys need me, I'll be downstairs." "You don't want to stay?" Mr. Fluffles asked. "All kitties are no longer locked up, the air conditioner is fixed, and I am ready for a nap," she replied. "Me too," Mr. Fluffles said as he caught up with her. She carried him downstairs, and they settled on their favorite pillow in the living room for a nice long nap.